Well, good evening. Welcome to San Francisco Weekly News. My name is Diane Wesley Smith. We're going to talk about baby boomers. A lot of people don't know who baby boomers are. I'm a baby boomer. Baby boomers were born between 1946 and 1964. So, why are we talking about baby boomers? We're talking about baby boomers as it relates to retirement, planning, and quality of life. Here in San Francisco, in particular, the state of California, Northern California, and then our country. So, in case you have most people have access to the internet, but you could go to the library. But I'll give you a brief reason why there's tons of information available about this subject, especially through sociology and marketing and advertising books. After World War II ended, everyone who had fought the Japanese and the Germans came home. Some brought new homes, wives, maybe husbands. Those people began marrying and throughout the rest of the 1940s and 50s, there were so many births, it was known as the boom. Our generation has a very different lifestyle from their parents because we didn't have the very significant negative experiences of the Depression and the war. The negative effects of the Depression is people were starving to death. Read about it. I'm sure you're well aware of it, but the thinking of my mom was different from my thinking as a baby boomer because I never experienced um, a lot of the things that they experienced. Where like there's no money. There's actually I did, but let's keep it general. Instead, they experienced an affluent, positive lifestyle in general that their newly comfortable middle class parents could finally enjoy and provide. That was the case for some of us, but in a lot of cases, it was still a better lifestyle. Even if you moved to the Hunters Point housing projects, which were former Army barracks, um, which were built for people working at the military shipyard as well. This led to a consumer oriented culture, credit cards, and leisure time being normalized, meaning that people began to take vacations, people began to purchase items, and it was normal. This led to new inventions, more products, new conveniences, and improvements of old products like the clothes washing machine, which was invented by an African American, and frozen foods. Money and the new invention, television, brought about new advertising and marketing techniques, new forms of entertainment, with arts and culture being brought into the home, and more consumerism, more money spending, consuming. All these things, along with a booming economy and federal money going into infrastructure improvements like bridges, freeways, street repair, and public education, among other things, made the boomers a huge, financially powerful, well educated demographic. Let me say that again, because by God's grace, I'm a baby boomer, and I'm part of the group that, among other things, we are financially powerful and well educated, only by God's grace. But we are talking about all of us because to whom much is given, much is required. So if you have more than your friend who hasn't retired or wants to retire, is not able to, then to whom much is given, much is required. This is a very generalized, according to the whole population, because we all know that blacks, we still suffer from prejudice. It's never went away. It's an adult social disease. So, therefore, my white counterpart, who is also a baby boomer, will be more fluent, more than likely have earned more than I. This is generalized as there was poverty, racism, old world lifestyles, radicalism, and communism. They had the benefit baby boomers had the benefit of living in the post-war boom economy. Everything was relatively cheap. Global competition was a minimal. Baby boomers are important because they have amassed wealth. Okay, so that's years and years of working. That's the equity in your home. That's the money that you've saved. That was if we, some people automatically save. Like I have a brother named Kenny. That boy saved all his life except for a brief stint uh, that affected my family. Okay, but moving right along, saving money is so important. And as we age and retire, we can really see the benefit of that. The new caregiving economy is part of our baby boomers experience. By 2020, over 100 million Americans will need assistance of some kind. And yet we have less than half the family caregivers needed, about 45 million, to care for them. When it comes to a growing caregiving economy, there are two paths to success: offering quality, turnkey senior care solutions, and offering self care services to stressed out family caregivers. Harvard Business School recently found employers are disconnected from their caregiving employees and grossly underestimate the $13 billion annual value, and the faces of caregiving is changing. Caregiving has been focused on baby boomer women, but more men and more millennials are taking on caregiving duties. The panel the thing about caregiving is the caregiver needs a caregiver. Okay? And I'm smiling because I had the blessing to assist my elders along with my siblings. My sister Donna was absolutely phenomenal. Um, and the caregiver must have relief. It's a lot of stress. If you're a caregiver, you know exactly what we're talking about, and also there are services available. But where we're heading, first we're gonna take a good look at what's going on so that everyone is informed and we're on the same page. And then what we're gonna do is then what we're going to do is we're gonna talk about some solutions. Boomers, brain health, and the next wellness business revolution. By 2050, Americans living with Alzheimer's will number 14 million, more than double the incidence of 5.7 million today, and will cost the U.S. government $1 trillion dollars. With a lack of public knowledge about Alzheimer's and fewer healthcare professionals going into aging care, families are severely impacted by this disease, with 14 million family caregivers struggling for and supporting their loved ones. Whether it's Alzheimer's and dementia, or dementia, it could be Alzheimer's and dementia, or it could be dementia, depression, or mental illness, brain health is the next frontier in health and wellness. Let me sum that up. Brain health. Baby boomers, are you out exercising? It is never too late to regroup. God can renew. God can give you the power to renew. And if you don't believe in God, find a power greater than yourself and work with that power. Get up and move. And the more you move, you say move, and you will move. Thus, you can be restored. But again, what we're looking at is a huge gap. And our, we baby boomers, one of the most powerful generations, sitting on wealth, and we're not advocating for ourselves. People are not getting their nails done now because what? Because they can't afford it? They're downsizing? I don't want to see that happen. So if you've retired already, send me an email and let's see what we can do to help address your needs. If you're a caregiver, send me an email. Our email address is not posted, but it is sfnews, no periods, sfnewstv, all one word, at gmail.com. Senior housing. Now, when I started this show about 12, no, it was about 2006, 7. Um, Housing was always important. Housing is still very important, and this is why, if I've ever had a disagreement with anyone in San Francisco and any public entity, including Willie Brown, who brought the developers, it is because, as a real estate professional, I knew, and all of us that are real estate professionals knew that the day was going to come when there wasn't going to be adequate housing. The developers came and they were brought by the mayor, Willie Brown, and the harm that has been done, the displacement that has been done, particularly to our seniors. Being a senior myself and also the community real estate broker, people know that I know about real estate, and they ask me all the time. And all we have is the Bayview Senior Center. It's inadequate. We've got to do more across the country. Certainly have to do more in San Francisco. We cannot have seniors being displaced. It shortens their lifespan. Seniors must have the ability to age in place. Housing is one of the foundational constructs of aging for everyone at all socioeconomic levels. So housing is important to the very low, the extremely low, the low, the middle low, on up. It's for it is invaluable to everyone. That's something that all human beings have in common. We all need housing. Seniors, because their income, many seniors' income has changed. Today it's inadequate, and seniors are being displaced. Today's existing homes and structures are not ready for the future and are struggling with the needs of today's elder population. So, as seniors age and start having mobility problems, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to sit back and sit around waiting until my time comes before I try to do something. No. We do something now. We don't sell our souls to do it. In its just released 2018 survey of home and community preferences, that found that 76% of Americans aged 50 or older prefer to remain in their current home, and 77% would like to live in their community for as long as possible. However, just 59% of older Americans think they'll be able to stay in their community, either in their current home, 46%, or in a different home but still within the same area, only 13%. Rising mortgage rates, skyrocketing home prices, and inventory shortages, meaning the lack of available housing inventory. The shortages at the lower end of the market, let's talk about that. At the lower end of the market are converging to create a new housing crisis, this time for baby boomers. I've been warning for a long time. I've been shouting like the call of Chicken Little, hey, it's going to happen, they're coming. Well, very sure, it's here. It's here, folks. And anyone building in this town, I call upon Mayor Brown, the mayor, actually, Willie Brown, chief architect of the redevelopment of San Francisco, to come back to the table, or at least have all developers accountable to a percentage of the affordable housing for senior citizens. This is a travesty. And it's going to, in 10 years, 5 years, it's going to be absolutely horrible. I have friends right now that have had to leave not only the Bay Area, but have had to move down south. Not, if they want to go down south and buy, hey, gravy. But I have people that, that have had to go because of financial reasons. Why? All because of a lack of planning. So people, that's a very emotional subject, because this whole thing could have been avoided. People accepted a little bit of money instead of being more concerned about their brothers. So proud of President Obama, so proud of Steph Curry, because to whom much is given, much is required. And if we don't do something, each and every one of you, particularly those in you in positions of influence, because there's a new crop of leaders here, but your turn is going to come. And as I age, I do not want to, let me see, how should I say that? We don't want to protest on the steps of City Hall because people don't have a place to live. We don't want to protest on the steps of City Hall when we call all baby boomers, calling all baby boomers to the steps of City Hall because we have been ignored. Okay. A lot of seniors want to downsize. You have the aspect, or some want to age in place and some want to downsize. There